They thought they were untouchable. For years, a shadow fleet has been ghosting through our waters, funneling billions in black market oil to fund terror and prop up regimes that hate us. They thought the United States was too distracted, too weak, too politically correct to stop them. On December 10th, they found out the hard way. They were wrong. Yesterday, off the coast of Venezuela, the rules of engagement didn't just change, they were rewritten. In a raid that looked like a scene out of a Tom Clancy movie, U.S. special operators stormed a massive crude oil tanker, seized control at gunpoint, and turned it toward American shores. But the most shocking part wasn't the raid itself. It was the three words that President Trump used when asked what happens to the millions of dollars of oil on board.
It's unfortunate what happened. I mean, I know exactly what happened. It got it started a little bit, but we'll see if we can put it out.
We're interested in the seizure of this tanker. What happens to the oil on this ship?
Well, we keep it, I guess.
Where does it go? What port does it go to?
Well, you have to follow the tanker. You know, you're a good newsman. Just follow the tanker.
Do you know where it was going? Was it going
follow
to
it.
China?
Get a helicopter and follow the tanker.
Is it true it's going to
But we're
Cuba?
I assume we're going to keep the oil.
We keep it. 3 words. We keep it. We're going to keep the oil we confiscated. Welcome to the new era of American civilizationalism. Today, we're breaking down the seizure that has the world's dictators panicking, the return of the Department of War, and the massive shift in national security policy that declares the Western Hemisphere is no longer open for business for our enemies. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button, and let's dive right in. Let's look at the facts. On Wednesday morning, elite teams from the Coast Guard and FBI, launched from the USS Gerald Ford, executed a seizure warrant on a stateless vessel transporting sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. Now, this wasn't a policing action. It was a military decapitation of a financial lifeline for anti-American regimes around the world. Attorney General Pam Bondi is the one who released the footage of the seizure, and she confirmed in a tweet that the operation targeted a, quote, illicit oil shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations. She wrote, quote, today, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Homeland Security Investigations, and the United States Coast Guard, with support from the Department of War, executed a seizure warrant for a crude oil tanker used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. For multiple years, the oil tanker has been sanctioned by the United States due to its involvement in an illicit oil shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations. This seizure, completed off the coast of Venezuela, was conducted safely and securely, and our investigation, alongside the Department of Homeland Security, to prevent the transport of sanctioned oil continues. Now, you'll catch the language she used there. She didn't just say that they had support from the Department of Defense. She explicitly credited the Department of War. Now, this obviously is not a slip of the tongue. In September, President Trump signed an executive order reviving the original 1789 name of the department to project strength and resolve. As Defense Secretary, now Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth put it, we are going to be on offense, not just defense. Violent effect, not politically correct. In other words, the new policy of the Trump administration is to go to war with any rogue foreign influence within our own hemisphere, in our own backyard. This is why Venezuelan narco-terrorist boats are being blown to smithereens by the dozens. Or think of the way Trump was very aggressive towards the president of Panama for allowing the Panama Canal to basically be taken over by China. And Trump said, bottom line, that's not happening. And if we have to, we'll take the Panama Canal back. So this is a very aggressive posture towards any and all foreign adversaries who would seek to undermine U.S. national security from within our own hemisphere. So the Department of Defense has become the Department of War in far more than just name. FBI Director Kash Patel doubled down as well, warning that this administration's efforts to crush FTOs, foreign terrorist organizations, will continue day and night. We will be relentless in completely crushing any and all threats to our national security. And so the message is absolutely clear. The days of proportional response are over. If you run a shadow fleet in our backyard, we don't just fine you, we take your ship, we take your cargo, and we dare you to do something about it. But in many ways, this raid is just the tip of the spear. It signals something far more significant, far more far-reaching than anyone could ever have imagined. Indeed, as we're about to find out, this seizure and the blowing up of narco-terrorist boats signals an entirely new political order that's reshaping the world like never before. But first, have you ever checked the ingredients in your toothpaste? Well, if you're like me, the answer is, no, I never even thought about doing it. But what I didn't know is that most toothpastes on the market are filled with harsh chemicals and additives like triclosan and sulfates and titanium dioxide, which actually can pose risks with long-term use. The irony here is that you use them every day hoping for a healthier smile, but then you end up with irritated gums, sensitive teeth, and sketchy chemicals. Make this Christmas the time to swap those chemicals out for safe and healthy peptides. Introducing Smile Peptide toothpaste from the Wellness Company. It's amazing. It's a breakthrough peptide paste designed to help reverse gum loss through mouth regeneration. Formulated with active peptides to support gum regrowth, nanohydroxyapatite to strengthen while remineralizing teeth, and Pap Plus to gently whiten without sensitivity, Smile helps you build a truly healthy mouth while staying fluoride-free. So you ready to make the switch? Well, get 15% off right now by clicking on that link below or visiting twc.health/Turley and using code Turley to try this amazing toothpaste for a fresh and healthier smile. Again, that's twc.health/Turley. Use code Turley for 15% off. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow. Click on that link below right now. This oil tanker seizure signals the activation of the new 2025 National Security Strategy released this month by the Trump administration. It's a breathtaking strategy in that for decades, the globalist establishment tried to make America the policeman of the world, fighting endless wars tens of thousands of miles away in the Middle East or whatever, while our own hemisphere burned. They let China buy up infrastructure in South America, and cartels run wild on our southern border. That officially ends now. The new strategy is built on what's called civilizational realism. It prioritizes the Western Hemisphere above all else. We're seeing a massive redeployment of military assets from Europe and the Middle East directly to the Caribbean and Latin America. The USS Gerald Ford isn't patrolling the Persian Gulf. It's parked off the coast of Venezuela, directly to our south. The 2025 National Security Strategy is the full-scale Trumpian restoration of the Monroe Doctrine, right? The 1823 U.S. foreign policy principle that declares that the Western Hemisphere is off limits to foreign colonization and intervention. This new policy explicitly states that we will deny external states the ability to position military forces or control strategically vital assets inside our hemisphere. So if China wants to buy a port in Peru, or if Iran wants to ship oil through the Caribbean, they now have to answer to the Department of War. But this is even deeper than just military tactics. We're witnessing nothing less than the rise of America, not just as a country, but as a civilization state. The old liberal international order sought to enforce a one-size-fits-all globalist village bound by treaties and protocols that sought to, in effect, create a singular one-world governing structure. That's the world that forced us to fight endless wars tens of thousands of miles away, to enforce this one-size-fits-all globalist world order on countries that didn't want anything to do with it. The new doctrine accepts the reality of what's called a multipolar world, a world of multiple political powers like Russia and China and India that each form the center of their own civilizational sphere. And in such a world, we don't try to impose our values on every village in Afghanistan, as it were. Instead, we brutally enforce the security and prosperity of our own civilizational sphere, specifically the Western Hemisphere. We're drawing, as it were, a circle around the Americas. And inside that circle, American power is unapologetically absolute. Outside that circle, we deal with nations transactionally, what's increasingly being called pragmatic engagement, particularly like with the Middle East, Russia, and China. And so in many respects, the seizure of that tanker wasn't just about oil. It was a statement. It told the world that the United States is done playing by globalist rules that, frankly, no one else follows. We're securing our perimeter, we're taking what's ours, and we are unapologetically defending our civilizational sphere. The shadow fleet is sinking, the Department of War is rising, and America is finally putting its own house first. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section below. And as always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button for breaking news and analysis you're not going to hear anywhere else. God bless. Hey, before you go, gang, do not miss out. Every Friday, my weekly wrap-up gives you everything you missed during the week. Live streams, top videos, podcasts, events, and the week's biggest Patriot wins. Sign up free at turley.pub/recap and start ending your week with faith, family, and freedom.